I pointed out the things that were not true. But I was told nobody could find me for 30 years, so Tom did, through a friend of a friend. And he had hired a private investigator along, I don't see Judith here, but I think she did too. And her investigator said I'd been dead for many years. I don't know exactly what Tom's investigator had to do.
She told me you were alive. And ironically, it was, you know, I think I told you this, the person who contacted me was related to Arthur Lee Allen.
No.
Or neighbor of someone who knew Arthur Allen.
Yeah.
So the big fat guy was good for one thing at least.
Yeah, but he wasted money before that. He found me through a friend of a friend. And I kept thinking, well, you know, if they really wanted to get in touch with me, they would. I'm not an investigator, but the first place I would have gone was vital statistics in Salon County. I lived in Benicia. I worked in Vallejo as a dispatcher. I moved back to Benicia after I quit. And, you know, it showed very clearly that I had divorced Richard Slover, and I had remarried Jerry Art. And addresses, dates, and everything, but I guess nobody thought of going to vital statistics. It was just too easy. Okay, since last year, I know that you're aware of the fact that I did play my own, I did the voiceover for the movie, The Zodiac. It was fun. By this time, you know, it was fun. My grandson and I went to Skywalker Ranch, and, you know, I was given, you know, they sent a limousine to pick me and him up and brought us home, and I didn't think I was such a big deal. But when they took us to lunch, here comes all these guys that work for Lucas in to talk to me, and I'm going, And then one person made the statement, "You don't realize you're a walking, talking part of history." I said, "Really? I never thought of myself that way." And that came about in a funny way too, because Brad Fisher, I was in contact with him because I was just consulting. And I was talking to Brad one day, and he said, "Well, I just came from a meeting with Finchner, that's the director."
Yeah, David Fincher's the director, Brad Fisher is one of his goons. Those producer types are just horrible.
Tom. Well, that could be because they told me that none of what we discussed was to be seen on Tom's website. I said, okay, Tom understood. But anyway, Brad came back, and, you know, when he called me, he said, "I just came back from talking to Finchner." And he said, he wants to know if you'd be interested in doing your own voice in the movie. And I just said to Brad, I don't know, I have to think about that one. Then I said, if you believe that, I have a bridge in Arizona. Of course I want to do my own voice in the movie, you know? And I got paid to do it. And the documentary, I mean, we were just given first class all the way down the line. So that was a good experience. They also had me listen to the actors and pick out the the actor that I thought sounded the most like the person I talked to. And I picked, I picked the actor that actually was going to play Arthur Lee Allen. I thought that was kind of ironic too. At that time, I'd listened to a lot of voices, but I have a neurologist that treats me for the movement disorder I have. And I asked him, I said, would it be possible, do you think I could possibly identify this voice after all these years? He said, definitely. Anything in your life that is traumatic or life-changing, your brain keeps stored. If you heard it again, you would recognize it. It would trigger a response. So we're getting closer to the future right now, or you know what happened in the past. But like I said, I'd listened to many voices, and I did talk to my doctor, and he said, yeah, I would remember. So I think it was like March 15th, March 14th of last year. I remember the date because I had a group of classmates there for corned beef and cabbage the next day. My friend, best friend from Florida was staying with me for the week. Tom called and he said, Nancy, I just want you to listen to this. I said, okay, you know, another voice, no big deal, I'll listen. So Judy was watching me, and Tom played the voice, or played the tape, and I immediately went into some sort of shock, I think. And I just asked Tom, you know, like, play it again, Sam, would you play it for me one more time? He did. And I said, I can't talk to you now. I'll call you back. I can't talk to you. And Judy said, what's wrong? She said, I'm watching me, my body language, and you know, I'm fair anyway. That's why I don't have the gray hair anymore. And I didn't wear white today. Because,
No white.
No white. But anyway, she thought, her first thought was that
There's a cow in here.
I'm looking for that cow over there. Okay, where was I? I'm having a senior moment here.
Well, you got the date right, the March 14th or 15th, but it was this year. It was 2008.
That's right.
And the corned beef and cabbage was really good, dude. I was yum.
Yeah, they came for leftovers. And anyway, my friend had thought that you know, my dad was in the hospital, or my brother, or something really traumatic had happened to one of my kids. I said, no, that's not it at all. So we talked for a while, and I called Tom back, and I told him, I said, I'm coming out with a very strong opinion on this guy. As far as I'm concerned, that's the man I talked to in July of 1969. Either that or it's his twin. So that led to, I guess we were openly discussing Gaikowski